My name is Jack Armstrong, and I've been here since the beginning, so last Saturday at 10 a.m.
When did the planning first start for the launch?
As far as I know, about 3-4 weeks before last week, so it's been about a month and a half.
Okay, a lot of people started, I guess, 2 weeks ago. You guys held off for a week. What went into the planning for your launch date?
You know, I'm not really sure what the idea was. We put it on a consensus, and they just decided to start it next week, so there's really no... That's about it on that one.
Tell me the kind of numbers that you've had. What kind of events have you guys engaged in?
The first 2 days, the first weekend we were open, or we were up, we probably had about 100 people here each day. And on Saturday we did a protest or march where we, all over Memphis, went down to Union and 2nd Street and Peabody and Bill and back here. And then Sunday we did a march from the Mountaintop Memorial, Martin Luther King, to the Civil Rights Museum. Then mostly we've been doing a lot of protesting, a lot of online stuff. Actually, live web, we're doing a lot of communicating with people around the world and other Occupy sites, and so that way. Some things we are doing is we're really supporting the homeless here. First 2 days we had a couple people that hung out with us, and on Saturday night there were some receptions going on downtown in some of the buildings, and they gave food to the homeless people, or we're starting to call them home free people, and they brought it here, and so they shared it with us, and we shared food we had with them. They took us for a tour of their camp, and since then they've been living here with us, and we've been kind of supporting them, and they're eating with us and just staying here. So it's almost building a little community. We're building a community with that. So
I hear a lot of people saying we'll be here as long as it takes. What will it take?
As long as it takes. When the powers that be understand that they are working for us instead of us for them, and that we start seeing change. I believe that change starts at the bottom level here. So if we Occupy Memphis work on the problems with Memphis, and Occupy Little Rock works on the problems of Occupy Little Rock, or Little Rock, and Houston, Austin, whatever, it'll work itself up to the state level, to the corporate level, and then as long as we keep that fire going about our legislators, next November we elect their asses out and get new people in there.
Have you been involved in politics or activism before?
I was back in the early 1980s. Used to dance with the tax IRS in early 80s, and they won that round, so it kind of just went down for a little bit, and still, thought about it. And actually about 1988, I was proposing that we had another revolution, just like we're doing right now. So, just because there was so much inequality even back in the 80s. So, I'd like to see, business model-wise, I think that we have a wrong business model. I think that we have a lot of places that we can improve upon, and, we're just not. We're just so, we've been stuck, and we've been brainwashed for so long that how it is great and good and everybody's happy. And finally the shadows drop behind the wizard, and we're seeing the true man instead of the mysticism of it.
What kind of business have you been in?
I've been in the restaurant business since 1982, so I've ran restaurants, I've opened restaurants, I've worked for hotels, casinos. I've been as low as a cook, as high as a chef, as owner, manager. Right now I'm a food and beverage consultant, so I work with opening up restaurants, troubleshooting restaurants.
How's business these days?
Sometimes I'm feasting and sometimes I'm starving. So right now we're in the famine stage. I'm doing a couple of bids out, so hopefully something will come of that, and just play it by ear.
Well, I guess that's the unexpected benefit of a downturn, is there's time to bring change.
And I call it stir change. Actually, I call it stir and shit, but my friends say, no, it's just stir change. That's more positive. So, yes, we're stirring change. And, and it's for the good. And the thing I'm really impressed about this is a lot of youth are in this now. I mean, we have some 16 and 17-year-olds who are here not going to school. And then we have some 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, and 50 and 60-year-olds. So it's a real wide range of ages and a lot of experiences, and it's a civics lesson. I mean, when they start doing the GAs and General Assemblies, and we're proposing bills and we're voting on them and we're blocking them and then going back and reworking them, they're seeing the whole thing as Congress would do, or what's going on in that aspect. So they're seeing some democracy in it, which is kind of funny since it's more, they're trying to be more autotonic where they're not democracy. It's more, there's not any leaders or just is. So.
But we are training the next generation of people for our democracy.
We are, and actually, they're getting some interesting lessons. I mean, they're starting to see this. They're starting to see that what their idealism is, or what the ideals are, doesn't always work out in actuality. So, back in the '60s, that was a great movement, a grassroots movement. But because they didn't, my belief, because they didn't organize right, they fell apart, and it just went down. So now if we're sitting back and letting them organize, and it'll be successful. So.
Thank you so much.